stop staring, be quiet. Look at me, there I go, choking on my silence. And I don't think you want me cause I wanna keep it private. And I don't think you know me if you're not one of my 5 friends. But it's my own fault, I can't give in. I have to go, took up on the top. My interest in my grab though, too many controls. It's the reason I struggle because I'm fucking shy. I never wanna show my face sometimes. And I got trouble looking people in the eye. Cause when I do I just forget off. And when I do it I'ma feel like I'm a dog.
Hey guys, it is day 3 of summer Ween. So it's currently Sunday. I am about to film a makeup video. I think those are cute, just some clay earrings. But yeah, I just try to make sure that there's like a good balance of everything, and then it gets really hard because some weeks I have to be a little bit more realistic and be like, look, I'm not going to be able to get to filming and or editing all of that in that week, you know, with other projects and stuff that I work on. So yeah, if I could get a little ahead, that would be great, but it doesn't always happen, and then I just find myself like in a slump of trying to figure out what to film next. So realistically right now, I really want to sit down and film I need to sit down and film my July TBR because today is the 9th. And so it'd be nice to turn around and like post that maybe tomorrow. But then the other part of me, so I'm like, I could just do, you know, makeup for my 100 days of makeup for my Instagram because I haven't been posting that, and I have one look, so I'd like to get like another look to be like a couple days ahead. So I'm like, I could do that and then just film my July TBR, and that sounds like the best idea. But I'm really wanting to start this new thing every month where the first week, my makeup video for that week is a get ready with me. And it could just be any makeup in my collection, or it could be like trying a full face of new makeup. I mean, literally anything. But while I do my makeup, I talk to you guys about all the books I read the previous month. Kind of like, you know, putting the two together again, kind of like my 5 books, 5 look videos, which I need to do more of too. I don't know. I think I'm going to try to be realistic and do my just makeup look and then July TBR. Realistically, that's what I need to do. But maybe I'll find time to do it tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm not really sure. Because tomorrow we are planning to go and have a river day with James's mom, maybe some of his family. But yeah, we're planning on just taking the boys to the river because we haven't been in a while, and we want to kind of like pack a cooler up and go. I'm going to be bringing some books with me to read for summer Ween, but or even like audiobook. But realistically, I'm not going to really want to go with a full face of makeup. So I'm just trying to like figure that out. And then I'm like, when we get home, because like we're probably going to eat dinner there, so we'll get home kind of late. Maybe I'll get to film that Tuesday. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to sit down and film that. So I guess since I'm not going to be doing the other video concept, I can get ready with you guys a little bit. I need to get some brows on. So today has already kind of been a little bit of an eventful day. I read in bed all morning and it was amazing. 10 out of 10. After the last few days of literally running around like a mad woman and constantly doing something, it felt so nice. But this morning I was reading more on Tell Me I'm Worthless. Oh, you guys, it is heavy. One second I feel like I'm loving this book, and then the next second I'm really struggling with it. I feel like the author goes on so many tangents, like I had mentioned, but I feel like it's almost like it gets worse as it goes through the book. And sometimes the tangents are those type of tangents that I love. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for this. Yes, let's talk about this. But then sometimes they're just kind of like, why? Or like, why are we doing this? Or it'll be like a more like intense moment where I'm really like on the edge of my seat. I can't wait for the next part to happen. And it'll be just like, I don't know. a pointless tangent, and then I'm left like struggling on if I'm enjoying this or if I'm not enjoying this. I think the writing style, I don't know, I go back and forth. Part of me, sometimes I'm like, I almost feel like the writing style is YA, although it's very explicit and very adult. But it's a really confusing one to be able to talk about, I guess. I'm not like hating it, I just am confused, I guess. I'm really trying to enjoy it as best as I can because there's so many good topics being mentioned and brought up in this, and then kind of twisting it into like this horror, and it's almost talking of or about how we're all like houses. So it has like this part where it mentions how like, you know, your eyes are like the windows, and it starts talking about these different parts of you and how, you know, some of us are haunted houses. We have so much like past trauma and past like, or, you know, guilt, or I mean just any type of things from our past that still are kind of like haunting us. And so yeah, it's just, this does have like a haunted house in it, and that's kind of what it's like building up to, of them like having to go back to this house. But it really is trying to paint the picture of it being like, you are the haunted house. Like, it's taking all of these things with mental health, but then it also touches on important topics of, you know, racism, and also like trying to word it in a way to where it's not like super triggering, but just discrimination against anybody in the LGBTQ community. And it's very jarring in a way that like my gut has like been in knots so many times, because I'm just like, oh my god. And I get it's like an all over the place type of ordeal, but I feel like it really hits home too whenever, if you're like me and you live kind of in a more conservative area. It's so heavy because it's like, this is what, so heavy because it's kind of like, these are things that you could typically hear or see being literally in your hometown. And I feel like a lot of the time I try to just, while I'm home, forget where I'm at a lot of the time, because it does get, I would definitely say, look up your triggers, especially if you are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. I feel like the topics are really good, and I like the way that a lot is being said. I feel like some other topics, for me personally, are a little much, and it's kind of hard for me to, I guess, resonate with that, but at the same time, I know that others could. And that's why I think it's great that it's being, these things are being referenced in this book, and it is shedding light on these things. And yeah, in a lot of ways, it still is reminding me of Jawbone, where it's touching on a lot of heavy subjects. Some parts really work for me, some parts don't, but I like the like metaphors and the way the story is going, and I'm super intrigued. I've been reading it this morning, and then I actually just read about like another chapter a while ago, and that put me now at part 2. And so I have about that much left. I could probably finish this off tomorrow, but I don't really know if this is a vibe for the river. You guys, I'm gonna be like on the river like crying. So I kind of need to look at my other options. I might take my thriller to the river. But yeah, I read that this morning, and then I paused for a while, and then got up because I did have to get some stuff done today. And so I switched to my audiobook. I started Pinata, and this is about, I think I briefly mentioned it in the beginning, but as I've read this is about a woman and her 2 daughters who have moved or are living someplace where it's really weird. I'm still trying to like gather, these are like the elements of a book that I feel like I sometimes miss whenever I'm just listening to an audiobook. And it's like this woman is working like as the head of like this construction company and trying to tell them like what to do with this property they were doing, and she is living there with her children, her 2 daughters. And the beginning is really just explaining their family dynamic and what happened with the father and their lives in general, how they've gotten to this point, why they're staying at this place because the mom's, you know, current work site is there, and then their personalities. We get to learn a little bit about the mom, Carmen, I believe, and then there's 2 daughters. I cannot think of their names. I do so bad remembering names with audiobooks, you guys. But one of them is younger and very just vibrant. Like, she has full-on personality. She questions everything. She wants to know everything about the world, and she's just this like free spirit, where the other one is a little bit more guarded, a little bit more older, and just very, seems like an awesome character, but I feel like she's just a little bit more reserved, and not so like in your face like the younger one. Sorry, my lips are so dry. But yeah, they're kind of navigating life, and then weird things start happening with like the construction site, and it's kind of like making the mom mad, and she's like, I didn't want it to be this way, or we need to switch this, and why is this happening? And it's almost like it is like almost like sabotage to her, and so she's trying to like figure that out, navigate it, but at the same time she also gets a warning from a lady about how she's trying to like look out for them and how to, you know, be careful, and, you know, I worry for you, I can sense something. And it's like, it's almost like we're gonna get like a folk tale or like some type of like tale like that. I mean, there was one at the beginning too about actually beating a person as a piñata. That was pretty horrid. So I'm assuming that might come back into play since it's a piñata. God, I hope not, because I am really liking these characters so far. But yeah, and this lady is telling her like, and then she's just like, oh, you need to back off. Like, are you threatening me? She was like, no, I'm trying to tell you that there's danger headed your way. And she was like, I feel like you're threatening me. And then she brings up her like 7-year-old daughter into this. And then the lady's like, hold up, now you're threatening my kid. And she's like, no, I'm not threatening you. I foresee these things. So it's almost like this like psychic almost. And then the mom's not believing it, you guys. But I don't want to give too much away, but I am getting to a point where the mom is starting to like question things. And I know that this is supposed to be like a possession book, so I think that some possession's gonna come into this as well, and I'm like, it's gonna probably get wild real soon, and I'm here for it. But it's been great so far. Narration's not bad. I feel like story-wise has been pretty steady and entertaining so far for me. I feel like maybe it would be a little slow reading physically, but audiobook-wise, it's doing it for me. It's not bad. But I was kind of bad about it, and I got on Goodreads and seen what some friends had rated it, and it's been rated kind of low, so I'm like, okay. I don't know. I'll let you guys know what I think. But I'm going to finish my makeup up, and I think I'm actually going to listen to Piñata for a little bit. I don't really know if I'm going to finish either book tonight. I'm kind of filming now in the afternoon because I just didn't want to do it earlier. But yeah, I'm not really like in a rush to finish a book today. I'm like, this is a 7-day readathon. I love this. I get to just be at ease with it and not have to feel rushed literally about anything. It's so nice. And that's why today I feel like I've made really good progress. I think I would like to finish one by tomorrow morning. So either Piñata or Tell Me I'm Worthless before the river maybe, or maybe after it. But I kind of want to start a new one at the river. I think it really is just going to be a week where I end up having like all of them going and then slowly finish out and kind of be a surprise which one I finish first. I hope you guys are having a good summer ween if you guys are participating in this, or if you find me through this, that is awesome. Let me know. Sorry, I'm so lazy and I feel like I should just get up and go get a new blush. I've been using like the same blushes over and over that I have sitting over here. I'm going to use this Velvet Skin from Ciate London, the shade. I'm still kind of getting used to the formula of this one versus their like dewy skin blush, but the shade of this is so pretty. But as I was saying, I actually earlier just watched Gabby's day 1 and 2 of Summer Ween. And then I believe oh, that's a lot more pigmented than I remember. But I believe Kayla is going to be uploading hers too, or maybe she already did. I feel like I seen a thumbnail for it. So I'm kind of like, I want to watch that now. I think next year, if I wasn't so behind on my vlogs, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I would love for next year to kind of do the same thing. Kind of like Vlogween or Vlogmas, where, you know, you upload like every day or every other day. Kind of do that with my vlogs, but I also know that I can get overwhelming with my vlogs, so.
Stairwell, cause it's my own fault, I can't give in. I have to go, stuck up on the top floor. Apologize, cause my goodbyes, let's reschedule when I'm not shy. And I don't wanna show my face sometimes, and I got trouble looking people in the eye. Cause when I do, I just forget all. And when I do it, I'ma feel like I'ma die.
Okay, this is the finished look. I really love it. It's very Halloween, fall vibes, perfect for summer ween. And I am obsessed. I'm wearing the Dragon Beauty matte liquid lip in the shade Jinx, and I love this. This is one of my favorite fall time lipsticks. And then on the eyes today, I'm wearing a favorite brand, Rebel Rouge Labs, and this is the Howling For You palette. It is stunning and another like fall Halloween favorite for me. I am going to now try to get my TBR filmed. I'm hoping I can get it done, but I'm still listening to Pinata and enjoying it so far. So it's almost like I'm waiting and anticipating for it to go south. I really hope not.
I hope you're there to share my story. If you hear this song, no, it's not you, it's me, I'm sorry. I don't wanna be the reason why you make this little lie. What's the point of having pointless conversations for one night? Cause I'm shy, I never wanna show my face sometimes, and I got trouble looking people in the eye. Cause when I do, I just forget I wanna do it, I'ma feel like I'ma die. I never wanna show my face sometimes, and I got trouble looking people in the eye. Cause when I do, I just forget off. And when I do it, I'ma feel like I'ma die.
Happy birthday to you.
cold. Yep. Awesome job.
But you wouldn't have fall.
Thought I would do a little bit more of an exciting vlog check-in. Today is a river day and the boys are way over there with James. I'm telling you guys, my stage fright for vlogging is still like extreme, even like in a secluded area where there's not like a lot of people and stuff. So I will sit down here and vlog for a minute. It is day 4 of summer Ween, and I have only finished 1 book, but I've been starting books and then kind of putting them aside, not really worrying about it, and then like coming back to the books. So I think that's just gonna be kind of how I am for the rest of the summer Ween. I am so close to finishing Tell Me I'm Worthless, and then I have a little bit to go on Pinata. I completely forgot my AirPods. Otherwise, I probably would like take a walk down here and like listen to it and stuff. But now that we're down here, it's been so nice. And we used to be river rats. We were here all the time. And the last few years, we've just barely have been. So we definitely think we're going to try to make it more of a thing, more of maybe even a weekly thing until it cools down, because we love it so much. And James's parents live right on the river and it's so beautiful. There's a huge gravel bar and the water, oh, it's so nice. And I've been out with the kids. I know James filmed some for me because he just recently got a tattoo, so he's like stuck up on the bank. Can't really do much because of his tattoo. But yeah, I've been trying to teach the boys how to float, because definitely is a current on this river, hence the name Current River. But yeah, we're just kind of chilling. I started my thriller read, The Chateau, and I was cracking up because the first like page, she's explaining that she's 40 but she has everything she wanted out of life. Like, she has a successful career and she has a gorgeous husband, she said, and amazing like 2 kids or whatever. And then she said, and you know, I'm hotter than like most 24-year-olds. And I'm like, oh no, what did I get myself into? So I only made about a chapter in because the kids either want my attention or they want me playing in the water with them, or it's just, mommy, look at this, hey, look at this, or yeah, just interruptions, which is okay with me. We've had a really good time. I think we're only going to be down here for maybe another hour, if that, and head up to see some family. But yeah, it's just so nice and peaceful. I could sit out here and just read all day long, like a towel. The only thing is like it's just completely rocks, so it hurts. I'm like, I am not a young girl anymore. My feet hurt stepping on these rocks. And I told James, I got out there to float and I was like, I've realized now that you float a lot better when you're an adult versus when you're a kid. I remember just always like sinking when I was a kid, and now I'm just like live my best life floating. But yeah, I wanted to check in, do a little bit of a different type of check-in than normally being at home and forgetting to check in when we're out and about. But this is just so nice, being out and secluded and being able to check in and yeah, share some of this with you guys as well. But I hope that you guys are enjoying summer Ween. Hopefully by the time I check in with you guys again, which will probably be tomorrow, I'll have at least one more book finished, if not two. We'll see. I gotta get my button gear with this readathon. I also posted on my stories that I'm just your friendly neighborhood vampire at the river, because I'm just always black. Black on black on black, and it's so pretty though. I'm definitely not your typical summer girl, but I could get used to this all the time. I still need my fall though. Good morning, you guys. Yesterday was a full-on day, so I didn't get as much reading as I wanted done, but I made it just like a couple of chapters into the chateau, which I was thinking about reading because I'm just hanging out in bed still. But I really want to finish Tell Me I'm Worthless and Pinata. So those two are on my list today to like fully finish. And then I definitely need to get into the rest to finish out. I'm still tired right now, so I'm trying to like remember what all I still need to read. I think after I finish those two, I just have the Chateau and one other, my Kindle read, that I haven't even started yet. That I'm supposed to be reading in the dark. But I did listen to like a chapter or two of Pinata in the dark last night when I went to bed, but I fell asleep listening to it, so now I gotta figure out where I was at, because I knew that would happen. Alright, so it's been a little bit since I left you guys very disoriented and like not all awake. I just got out of the shower, so don't mind my appearance. But I did finish Tell Me I'm Worthless, and I feel like it's going to be a very relatable book for anyone who is a part of the LGBTQ plus community and or trans along those lines. Now, this is written by a trans author, and it has a trans character in it, and there is a lot of representation of that in here, but it's also a very hard book for me to read, and I feel like there is definitely a lot of triggers, like a lot of triggers. Enjoyed this book for the message that it kind of gave or got across, but with that being said, because I do feel like it touches on a lot of important conversations, and I feel like it's an eye-opener for a lot of those things, in a very, like the front says, brutal. It's a very brutal way of putting it. I feel like it is that like wake-up call that, you know, we do need, and we need to keep that with how times are. We may be in 2023, but like this is still how people are being treated just because of who they love or who they are. And so yeah, it's very brutal, it's very intense, and hard to read at times. And I do have critiques because I don't think it's hard for me to rate this book because I do feel like it's a very important book and I like the messages that are in this book, but I feel like I can't give it a perfect 5 because for me, enjoyment wise of reading the story and being able to follow along, it's so confusing in parts. Definitely reminded me of Jawbone, and I feel like meeting the characters kind of just gets a little bit rambly at times, and almost pointless at times. And then there's a good portion at the end that is just like, what? Like it's hard for me to like follow some of that, and maybe that is just me, but I don't know. Like I feel like there was a lot already into this story that I feel like there is a lot that could be taken out of it, I guess. But regardless, I still think it was a good read, and I don't know who I would recommend this to. I would just say go into it knowing what it's about, and this is definitely one that I feel like you want to read the synopsis. Personally, from a horror perspective and loving horror, I feel like the middle-ish of the book where we're in the haunted house and there's, you know, creepy horror elements going on, I absolutely loved it. I would love to see that from this author, and I felt like she did an incredible job. It was very jarring and scary, and I really like those parts of the book for sure. So I do like the overall messages, because I feel like there's so many, like even me being straight, like I feel like I could take away something from this book as well as how I view people, how I can help make things or make, you know, the smallest difference of speaking up and standing up for those people. But also I like the elements that she talked about, like us being our own like haunted house, and like our past traumas and stuff like that are still haunting us. And yeah, I just feel like there was a lot packed into this book, and I am glad that I read it. It was not what I was expecting whatsoever, and this has been on my TBR for so long. But yeah, thought I would check in, let you guys know. I have about an hour, I think-ish, left of Pinata, so I'm going to listen to that for a little while. I'm going to hopefully film a look in a bit as well. Maybe, we'll see. Yeah, just kind of unwind from yesterday's activities.
Stop staring, be quiet, look at me, there I go.
Alright, you guys, so I am doing quite horribly on my summer Ween reading. I left you guys off yesterday because shortly after that check-in, we got ready, the boys had a dentist appointment, and it was not a great ordeal. Sorry, my neighbor is having work done at her house, so it's very loud if you guys do hear that. But Roman has like a baby tooth that needs to come out, but we're still just like putting it off. We're gonna kind of see if it comes out on its own. But his adult tooth is like growing in front of it now, so it's just been. But poor little Axel has a few cavities, so we are being recommended to go to a children's dentistry. have that looked at, and there's talk of like sedation and all of that. So I mean, it's always just scary with kids. And so yeah, yesterday was kind of just like a hard day for me, and I just kind of like shut off for a little while. I did finish Pinata, and I think, I don't know, my rating, I feel like I've read so many like Mexican folklore lately that I really hope that they don't all start like kind of like meshing together. I've enjoyed them a lot. I don't think this was my favorite. I think I would still kind of lean more for like Monstrilio. But this one followed, like I mentioned before, the mom and the two girls, and you know, they're on this construction site. That's where they're staying, you know, and there is these warnings from this elder lady telling her, you know, I just see something within your young daughter, and she's like freaked out, and then bad things keep happening. The little girl's acting weird. So they move back home to New York, and while there, the girl is like causing problems at school. She's very like spiteful and being mean and stuff. And so it is a story of like possession. There's something like within her, or a cursed thing, which would actually be good for one of my bingos, my book bingos, because I think there's a cursed object one. But yeah, I like the whole possession exorcism type of vibe, but I just felt like there was so many parts where I was like, this is really slow, or it's just really taking a while to get to the point. Also, I was listening to this via audiobook, so the narrator is not bad, but like when you introduce more characters towards the end of the book, I start to check out a little bit more, because I'm just like, I'm not invested in these characters. I don't really know who they are. Or like they briefly mention them like once in the beginning and then bring them back for like a big plot like in the end, not really like giving anything away, but like, and not, I guess not really a big plot, but just like talking about them more in the end. I'm just like, oh no, it's just like a little pointless for me. But I started last night, I started that Kaleidoscopic Shades book. I think I'm getting to a point where if I read another like so-so book, I might get into a rut. So I think I'm gonna have to DNF this one. I don't really know if it's for me, and I'm trying, and I'll try to come back and give it like another shot. Maybe just right now is not a good time for me. So for now, I'm going to switch over and continue reading The Chateau, my thriller. That's pretty much it for summer Ween, unless I can try to fit in another like fall vibe read, which maybe I will try to do, because that's the only prompt I'm missing. I did listen to the majority of Pinata in the Dark, so that kind of helped with that prompt. But yeah, I'm just missing that read a book that's set in the fall, and I'm having a hard time with that. So I'm trying to see if I have any books at all that will fill that prompt, but I also know like today and tomorrow is the last day.
But it's my own fault, I can't give in. I have to go, suck up on the top. Interest in my crop though, not too many kind for. It's the reason I struggle, because I'm fucking shy. I never wanna show my face sometimes, and I got trouble looking people in the eye. Cause when I do,
Hey you guys, I'm wrapping up my summer Ween, and I did in fact DNF the book that I talked about, the Kaleidoscopic like colors or whatever. I have not come back to that one, and I know I've been in bed for the majority of this vlog, I feel like, in between like doing fun things. Work is still being done at my neighbor's house, so it is loud still. Not a whole lot has changed, but my fifth book I did finish, The Chateau, and I've already taken it back to the library, because I'm a little bit behind on wrapping this vlog up, but I did give it 3 or 4 stars. I'm kind of back and forth on it. It was a thriller. I don't know, you guys. I kind of ended up listening to it, the majority of reading it, versus physically reading, partly because I really enjoyed the narration, because it was kind of like a cast. So it was like each person had a different voice, which is really nice because each chapter kind of bounces to different people. But anyways, we have these two families that are kind of like intertwined at the chateau. This older lady owns it, but she is living there with somebody who has always been very close to her, another woman, and they have granddaughters that are around the same age. One of them, the main woman who owns it, kind of like took her in, I think, like after she lost her parents. And then she was just kind of like always raised with Darcy, the woman's granddaughter. So Darcy and this girl grew up together, and although this girl was kind of like raised to be like somebody that works of the house and stuff like that, they kind of just had this really close friend bond that was almost like cousins. So like every time Darcy would like come to the chateau during the summertime, cousins and friends hanging out. So we kind of learn a little bit more of like the history. There's just like a lot of family drama going on, and now it's the future. They're all coming back to the chateau again, and Darcy is coming with her now husband, her kids, and she even has, I believe, a couple of friends that come along too. And for the life of me, I wish I could remember everybody's name. But I do know that she has two different friends. One of them is like her best friend, and the other one is like another good friend of hers, but that one seems to be a little bit closer to her like friend slash cousin. So altogether there's 4 girls, and then of course like the older lady grandma, there's like the people who work at the house, and somebody ends up dead. So it kind of starts like this mystery of like who did it, almost like Clue style. And on top of that, like it shows jumping like POVs with each chapter to these 4 different girls. And even I believe like the grandmother as well. Like it did like the grandmother, the 4 girls, and then I think even a couple of the guys, like the guy who kind of like works like the landscaping, like the handyman, even him. There's a big cast, a lot of people. A lot of people had POVs in this. But yeah, it kind of just shows all of their drama, all of their dirty laundry, and like how they're all intertwined in the family money. And it just really comes down to like who are your friends, who can you trust, and a lot of like how with any family drama comes with the inheritance and money and politics. But anyways, I know I'm going to be sitting down and editing this vlog very soon, so I wanted to wrap up my thoughts on the final book, wrap up this vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have, I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun reading so many horrors back to back to back, and thriller kind of in the mix as well. But I am currently reading some thrillers. I'm currently reading some YA books. I have a lot of really fun video concepts coming soon, so stay tuned. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
It's really high up in the tree though. Probably getting confused because it can't find where it's on the ground. Oh, there's 2 of them. Huh? Listen, they're calling to each other. Sounds like a horse.
Share my story. If you hear this song, no, it's not you, it's me. I'm sorry. I don't wanna be the